Namaskar, a very warm welcome to Sansad TV. India hosted speakers of the parliaments of the G20 countries for the 9th P20 Summit in New Delhi on 13th and 14th of October. Held under the wide-ranging theme of parliaments for One Earth, One Family, One Future, the summit saw parliamentarians from across the globe coming together and reaffirming their commitment to make an effective and meaningful parliamentary contribution to the G20 process. In this report, we will try and understand the importance of the parliamentary dimension of G20. We will also take you through some of the valuable views and inputs shared by the presiding officers and parliamentary delegates during the various sessions of the summit. The aim of the G20 Parliamentary Speaker Summit is to bring a parliamentary dimension to global governance, raise awareness and build political support for international commitments and ensure that these are translated into national realities. Over a span of 2 to 3 days, the P20 summits delve into 3 to 4 intensive sessions, offering a unique parliamentary perspective on the key priorities of the G20 presidency. The sessions are moderated by the chair, who is the presiding officer of the parliament of the host country. When the deliberations draw to a close, the P20 summit culminates with a joint declaration, an embodiment of mutual commitments on the G20's priority issues. The concept of P20, led by speakers from parliaments of G20 countries, was started during Canada's presidency in 2010. However, a parallel summit of the G20 Speakers of Parliament was held for the first time in 2018 under Argentina's presidency. Held in collaboration with the Inter-Parliamentary Union, the summit aimed to provide Speakers of Parliaments with updates on the implementation of G20 recommendations so that they could identify challenges and decide on the necessary parliamentary action. In 2022, the 8th G20 Parliamentary Speaker Summit was held under Indonesia's G20 presidency in Jakarta. The 9th edition of the P20 Summit was held in India, the world's largest democracy, with a focus on how parliaments can work together to achieve the collective goals of One Earth, One Family and One Future. Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi inaugurated the summit, underscoring India's significance as a beacon of democracy.
दुनिया के अलग कोनों में जो कुछ भी घट रहा है, उससे आज कोई भी अछूता नहीं है। कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स और कन्फ्रंटेशन से आज दुनिया संकटों से जूझ रही है। इन संकटों से भरी दुनिया किसी के भी हित में नहीं है। मानवता के सामने जो बड़ी चुनौतियां हैं, उनका समाधान एक बटी हुई दुनिया नहीं दे सकती। यह शांति और भाईचारे का समय है, साथ मिलकर चलने का समय है, साथ आगे बढ़ने का समय है। यह सबके विकास और कल्याण का समय है। हमें वैश्विक विश्वास के संकट को दूर करना होगा और मानव केंद्रित सोच पर आगे बढ़ना होगा। हमें विश्व को वन अर्थ, वन फैमिली, वन फ्यूचर की भावना से देखना होगा।
One of the summit's notable achievements was the unanimous consensus on the joint declaration, a testament to India's leadership on the global stage. The declaration stated the commitment of the P20 Forum to engage in parliamentary diplomacy and dialogue in relevant fora as a catalyst for providing international peace, prosperity and harmony, including supporting the peaceful resolution of conflicts and disputes.
एक्सेलेंसी, मुझे आपके साथ साझा करते हुए अत्यंत प्रसन्नता हो रही है कि हमारी टीम द्वारा पिछले 2 सप्ताह 14 डेज तक अथक प्रयासों के बाद हम P20 शिखर सम्मेलन के संयुक्त वक्तव्य पर आम सहमति बनाने में सफल हुए हैं। ये सफलता आपके सहयोग एवं समर्थन से संभव हुई है। ये हमारी सामूहिक उपलब्धि है और मैं आप सभी को इसके लिए बधाई देता हूं।
Exemplifying the spirit of Vasudev Kutumbakam, the unanimous declaration pledged to collaborate for a human-centric, prosperous and harmonious future. The 9th P20 Summit marked a remarkable confluence of diverse elements, effectively blending discourse, tradition and innovation to create a compelling and dynamic event. It emerged as a beacon of progress, shedding light on key facets of our increasingly interconnected global landscape through 4 dynamic sessions that were thoughtfully designed to probe and discuss critical issues. The 9th P20 Summit under India's presidency featured discussions on accelerating SDGs, sustainable energy transition, women-led development and digital public infrastructure. Women-led development was the theme of the second session, where delegates stressed on the pivotal role that women play in driving societal and economic progress. Initiating the session on mainstreaming gender equality, from women development to women-led development, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla referred to the historic Women's Reservation Bill providing for 33% reservation to women in Parliament and state assemblies.
भारत के नए संसद भवन में विशेष सत्र में भारत की संसद ने संविधान संशोधन करके केंद्र और राज्य की सभी चुनी प्रतिनिधि संस्थाओं में महिलाओं के लिए 33% आरक्षण का ऐतिहासिक निर्णय लिया गया। वो निर्णय भी सभी दलों की सहमति से लिया गया, जिसमें महिलाओं की भागीदारी बढ़ेगी निर्णयों में, कानून बनाने में।
The Lok Sabha Speaker also spoke about measures India has undertaken to reduce economic disparities for women. Taking part in the session, President of the Australian Senate congratulated India for the landmark Women's Reservation Bill, asserting that it would usher in a new era of women-led development.
To women-led development. This means involving women in every aspect of decision-making, from policy and planning to implementation and monitoring. And certainly the young women that I met at the Milan Foundation are absolutely up for that challenge. We must support women's economic empowerment by providing access to credit, resources and training, enabling them to adapt.
The Speaker of the National Assembly of South Africa made her point by arguing that for a just world, more than half of its population cannot be kept at bay.
Your Excellencies, women's equal participation in decision-making is not only a demand for simple justice or democracy, but can also be seen as a necessary condition for women's interests to be taken into account. Without the active participation of women and the incorporation of women's perspective at all levels of decision-making, the goals of equality, development and peace cannot be achieved. Considering that women constitute more than half of the global population, the struggle for gender equality and women-led development should be regarded as a societal struggle.
Speaker of the Parliament of Bangladesh presented some hard-hitting statistics on gender inequality.
important and active agents of economic and social transformation. They are not mere recipients of charity. Women are key contributors to development process. Women producing 60% to 80% of food in most developing countries play a major role in ensuring food security. Women's role as primary caregiver cannot be undermined.
Expressing her views on the subject, the Vice President of the State Council of Oman thanked India for initiating a discussion on such a pressing issue.
Important for parliaments and lawmakers to discuss and develop formal mechanisms to identify the root causes and promote women participation by making it safer and more effective for women to participate in politics and political and social causes.
Delegates recognized that parliaments play an important role in encouraging women-led development, deterring discrimination, and enhancing women's full, equal, effective, and meaningful participation as decision makers for addressing global challenges inclusively. In the joint statement, the P20 committed to equal access to education and professional opportunities, women's entrepreneurship and leadership, financial and digital inclusion, as well as the enhancement of social, healthcare, and educational services for women. This report highlights the commitments made by the parliamentary delegates on mainstreaming gender discussions and making women equal participants in development. At the 9th G20 Parliamentary Speaker Summit held in New Delhi, delegates from the member countries recognized that parliaments play an important role in encouraging women-led development. The joint declaration that was adopted unanimously under India's presidency, the member nations committed to enhance women's full, equal, effective, and meaningful participation as decision makers for addressing global challenges inclusively.
महिलाओं के वित्तीय समावेशन और सामाजिक सुरक्षा के लिए भी कई योजनाएं चलाई जा रही है। हमारा लक्ष्य एक ऐसे समाज का निर्माण है जहां महिलाओं को समानता नहीं बल्कि समाज के सभी आयामों में नेतृत्व के सभी अवसर और अधिकार प्राप्त हो। मुझे आशा है विश्व की सभी संसदों में इस दिशा में सकारात्मक काम किए हैं।
Acknowledging the disproportionate impact of the COVID-19 pandemic and other crises on women and girls, delegates recognized the substantial role of women in economic recovery. In the joint statement, they pledged to eliminate all forms of violence and harassment of women both online and offline. Towards this end, the P20 welcomed the development and implementation of initiatives to eliminate gender-based violence against women parliamentarians. The 9th P20 Summit also noted with concern the underrepresentation of women in national parliaments. According to the IPU, women represent on average around 27% of all parliamentarians as of September 2023. Towards this, the delegates expressed commitment to assessing and improving the level of gender sensitivity of parliaments. In this context, they welcomed the adoption of the Women's Reservation Bill 2023 by the Parliament of India in September 2023.
The living standard of women and their societal standing has not improved to the acceptable proportional levels. I wish to congratulate you, Speaker of India, for your courage in amending your pieces of legislation, thereby paving the way for women to have full participation in decision-making in your country.
Further, the P20 Joint Declaration also acknowledged the disproportionate impact of climate change and other environmental challenges on women. In this context, the P20 delegates acknowledged the importance of investments in sustainable lifestyles, energy transitions, and accelerating progress on SDGs. Through its G20 presidency, India made a consistent effort to mainstream gender discussions and prioritize women-led development. To make women equal participants and drivers of development, India passed the historic Women Reservation Bill, the Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam, providing for 33% reservation to women in Parliament and state assemblies. In this report, we look at how this landmark legislation will be a transformative move in upholding the right to participation for women and gender equality in India. The 106th Amendment of the Constitution of India, officially known as the Constitution Act 2023 and informally referred to as the Women's Reservation Bill, was introduced in the Lok Sabha on September 19, 2023 during a special session of Parliament. This groundbreaking legislation seeks to allocate 33% of the seats in the directly elected Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies for women. This achievement is the culmination of a legislative debate that had been ongoing for an astounding 27 years, including the lapsed Women's Reservation Bill in 2010 due to the lack of consensus among political parties. The bill's passage was a historic moment, being the first legislation considered in the new Parliament building. On September 20th, 2023, the Lok Sabha overwhelmingly passed the bill with 454 votes in favour and only 2 against it. Following this, the Rajya Sabha passed the bill unanimously with 214 votes in favour and none against on September 21st, 2023. The final seal of approval came from President Draupadi Murmu, who signed the bill on September 28, 2023. The Gazette notification was also published on the same day, signalling that the reservation would come into force following the first delimitation, which is currently frozen until 2026. On September 20th, 2023, Union Home Minister Amit Shah announced that a census and delimitation exercise will follow the 2024 Lok Sabha elections to implement the Women's Reservation Bill. The delimitation process involves revising constituency boundaries to accurately reflect population distribution, an essential step in ensuring fair representation. The Women's Reservation Bill has faced 6 unsuccessful attempts since its initial introduction in 1996. This historic step aims to increase the number of women parliamentarians, reflecting a growing need for gender equity in our political landscape. The current Lok Sabha comprises 542 members, with 78 being female members, and the Rajya Sabha consists of 224 members, including 24 female members. A total of 102 women parliamentarians are serving as of 2023. For the bill to be fully ratified, it requires approval from at least 50% of the states. This is due to the potential impact of the bill on the rights of states. As India takes this historic stride towards gender equality in Parliament, it marks a pivotal moment in our democracy's evolution. Thank you for joining us in this journey through the 9th P20 Summit and the historic Women's Reservation Bill in India. It's been an enlightening exploration of the parliamentary dimension of global governance and the pivotal role of women in driving progress. As we move forward, let's celebrate these milestones in the quest for a more inclusive and harmonious world. One Earth, one family, one future. The path we are all committed to shaping. I'm Deepika Dhanda signing off. Namaskar.